Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The correct understanding about ourselves and our conditionings, called as Viveka Khyati or the Purusha Khyati, is the cause for liberation from the relative existence. Yes, we have understood. But the problem is, this understanding is not getting translated in experience. As regard understanding is concerned, we can tell others to such an extent that others may get realized, but we continue to be where we are. The problem. So one has to work on this. And for that, these 8 limbs of yoga are indicated. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Now out of these, we have seen the first yamas, Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya and Aparigraha. These are our interactions with the world, and when they are practiced, jati desha kala samaya vachinna samayanavachinnaha sarvabhaumaratam. When they are practiced in a proper manner, without any compromise, they are called as sarvabhauma, means they are helping us to grow from the lower bhumika of the mind to the higher bhumika. So if we are kshipta, mudha, vikshipta, we will slowly go one by one and come to the ekagra bhumika. After having said this, then the next was the niyamas. So they were shaucha santosha tapasvadhyaya ishvara pranidhanani niyamaha. These are the self-imposed disciplines by which we do not remain a problem to ourselves. Many a times it is we who are problem for ourselves. And the reason being the absence of one of these or all of these. Shaucha, inner and outer purity, santosha, contentment, tapa, the ability to undergo difficulties with a smile, swadhyaya, chanting of the Lord's name and study of scriptures, and Ishvara Pranidhana, offering all our activities before, during and after our actions to the Lord. When this is practiced, then as a result, our mind becomes purer and purer, and we are able to attain the Viveka Khyati leading to the Sampradnyat Samadhi. Up to here we have seen in our last class. Now, Etesham Yama Niyamanam, these 10 of them, Yama and the Niyamas, 10 of them, Vitarka Badhane Pratipaksha Bhavanam. So, the 33rd Sutra, please read after me. Vitarka Badhane Pratipaksha Bhavanam. You know what happens? We all know, and yet we are unable to be following all our knowledge in life. And this is because of the vitarka. Vitarka badhane pratipaksha bhavanam. When we are influenced by the vitarkas are the different obstacles. And obstacles come not from outside, they come from within. Our own mind starts throwing such options that under these options anybody will become angry. Meaning, we start justifying our negative approach to life. This is called as vitarka badhane. So, pratipaksha bhavanam. Under such condition, one should try to think in terms of the opposites. Means what? Now here we will take the bhashya, Veda Vyasa bhashya. Yada asya brahmanasya himsadi vitarkaha jayeran hanishyami aham apkaranam andrutam api vakshami asya dravyam api svikarishyami and asya paragruheshu swami bhavishyami iti ati deeptena unmarga pravana vitarka jvarena badhyamanaha tat pratipakshan bhavayet. We have this kind of negative thinking in our mind, because of which we are not able to follow the yama niyama, the controlled interaction with the world, yama, and niyama, the self-control. Because of this we are not able to follow. What is this? When the seeker who is walking the spiritual path, in his mind when this type of thought starts erupting, which are those? Himsadi vitarkaha. All the criminal thoughts are born in the mind. Which are those? For example, hanishyami, I shall kill that fellow. Then apakaridam, because he has troubled me, I am not going to spare with him. Eye for eye. That is our philosophy. And then anrutam api vakshami. And to destroy that fellow, even it comes to taking recourse to the lies, I shall not resist. By hook or crook, I will see that this fellow is destroyed. And further, asya dravyam api svikarishyami. And then I shall take away all his belongings and possessions. Because he has troubled me. I will see that he is made to stand on the road with a begging bowl in his hand. And thereafter, asya dareshu vyavayi bhavishyami. I shall take revenge not only on him but also on his family. His wife also, I will see that she is destroyed. And asya parigraheshu swami bhavishyami. All that he has, I will be the owner of his total property. Iti, these kinds of negative, destructive thoughts, ati diptena, when these negative thoughts become extremely potent in our mind, then unmarga pravana vitarka jvarena badhyamanaha. See the words used by the Bhashyakar. Unmarga pravana vitarka jvarena. He is having the hysteric attack of the criminal attitude towards life. Unmarga pravana vitarka jvarena. And badhyamanaha, where he is thus influenced by this condition, then what such a person should do? So, tat pratipakshan bhavayet. He should start thinking exactly the opposite side. Meaning, What is the conclusion of all this? Pratipakshan bhavayet. Never take refuge in the negative thoughts of your mind. See? Many times we become low in spirit. I don't know, there is no charm in life. The other day I received one phone, long distance call from some other country. Swami, do you remember me? I said, yes, I remember you. What can I do for you? How did you remember me? Swamiji, I am feeling very low. I have no interest in anything. I don't know what is happening. I am thinking that I will leave this country and come back to India and I want to stay with you rest of my life. I said, I have started offering prayers to the Lord. Oh Lord, please protect me, please protect me. I have no interest, I am getting so disgusted with life. See, these kind of things when they come, don't encourage, don't support, pratipaksha bhavana. Think the opposite way. See? It is better to kill others than to destroy yourself. See? Be very, very clear about it. Never justify the negative thoughts in the mind. Negative thoughts are in terms of one, lack of interest in life. There is no interest in life. Second thing is having self-pity. And when we have no interest or self-pity, then we start drawing attention of others. And for that, we are ready to do any damage to ourselves. No, never encourage that. Therefore, tat pratipakshan bhavayet. So how should we think? What is the line of the opposite thinking which will remove the negative thinking? What should be the positive thinking which will cancel the negative thinking? Here it is given that ghoreshu samsarangareshu pacchamanena maya sarva bhuta bhayapradanena yoga dharmaha sharanam upagataha saha khalu aham tyaktva punastan vitarkan adadan shvavruttena tulyaha iti bhavayet. Now this is the kind of line of thinking. What is that? That I have already thought over, I have already lived in this world at the relative existence, and ultimately what I got? This disgusting existence. And therefore, to come out of this negativity, I have now taken refuge on to the path of Yoga Marga. Yoga Marga means the path of spiritual existence. Now, after we have taken this path, then the teacher continues the thought, Ghoreshu samsarangareshu pacchamanena maya. I was being roasted in this terrible fire of relative existence, and sarva bhuta abhayapradanena yoga dharmaha sharanam upagataha. So then I have taken refuge at the feet of this yoga dharmaha, this path of yoga. And what is this? Sarva bhuta abhayapradanena. The one who is the bestower of fearlessness to all those who are wanting to walk this path. See? This is what we have seen in the morning class, the Ishvara Pranidhana. Surrender to the Lord means what? Surrender to the Lord means something like this. If I claim to be the devotee of, let us say, Bhagwan Sri Krishna, and after having claimed to be the devotee of the Lord, and yet remain disgusted, depressed, frustrated, it is an insult to the Lord. See? Therefore, once we have taken refuge in this path, then that me saha khalu aham tyaktva punastan vitarkan adadanaha. So although I have taken the right step on the right path, again I am falling back to the old rut of wrong thinking. So, punaha tan vitarkan adadanaha at shva vrittena tulyaha. See, the words used are extremely bitter. Shva vrittena tulyaha, meaning living like the life of a dog. Shva vrittena tulyaha. What is the life of a dog? Iti bhavayen. In this manner, one should start thinking. That means do not justify your negative thinking, do not justify your negative approach to life. Then only spiritual life is made. Many times, we have that wrong notion. Like, many people come here for yoga. And what is for them yoga? Is only sitting in one posture for straight away for 3-4 seconds. That is their yoga. Or able to do one or two either asanas or doing some pranayama, etc. First limb is yama, the second is niyama, and then the third comes asana. See? If we are climbing step by step, and there are 8 steps, so if you want to jump directly on the 7th or 8th steps, you are likely to fall. See? Therefore, when we start yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, and as a result of this comes the sayyama. Sayyama is what? Chittasya ekagra bhumika. And when we come to this ekagra bhumika, sayyama, then alone the sampradnyata yoga is possible. And with the sampradnyat yoga, when this viveka khyati becomes mature, then we go to the last one called as asampradnyat samadhi. So there is no shortcut. Please understand. Many people have got this peculiar notion that there has to be shortcut. And those who are taking refuge in the shortcut, they are cut short. See, last time I told you I went to New Zealand and one person, a lot of people used to come for meditation. We had 2 days meditation workshops. And first day we had our course, about 1.5 hour lecture, break, cup of tea, and then practice. Like that 2 days we had. After we finish our first day thing, we all disperse. Second day, before starting, one person came, I don't know his name. He must be British, from his accent I could understand. So he came and he said, I have done this kind of pranayam from so and so. And there was a huge crowd, so I also came. And then we did it. And there was a lot of chaos and commotion. Everybody on caught something, as if that particular technique is bringing out all the negatives out of you and all that. And then only for maybe an hour or so. And after that, next 23 hours again the same hang up. It is something like, when you take to drugs or drinks, only for a short period of time you are floating in spirit. And when the spirit is thrown out of the body, detoxified, then again thereafter it is a hang up. I don't know, I feel so... what happened? You were jumping out of the skin. What happened now? So please remember, never take refuge in these shortcuts. No. We have to go systematically. Therefore, first yama sadhana, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya and aparigraha, very, very essential. Without that, if we imagine we are walking the spiritual path, there is a saying in Hindi which says that "Sau chuhe khake billi haj chali." Means a cat has eaten 100 rats and then felt very bad. And therefore, for removing the sins of killing 100 rats, she has decided to take the pilgrimage of the Makkah, Madinah, the Hajj. So after I go there, everything will be clean. And so that again I start. See? Spiritual life is not this. And therefore see how much importance is given. That we all know, as regard knowledge is concerned, none lacks. No, there is one book by Robert Fulghum. I really like that book. Long time back I read it when it was newly published. And the name of that book is such a long one name. All that we need to know is what we studied in our kindergarten. That is the name of the book. And when you take any book, as a human mind, when you take, you start like this. And the first sentence, start reading from the front. See how important it is. All that we need to know is very simple things, not very difficult things. And these simple things are put in a capsule form in these two disciplines of yoga, yama and niyama. Yama is we must interact with the world and not react to the world. And niyama is we must not become a burden and load to ourselves. We become a load to ourselves. We become a burden to our own existence. And then such people are all the time. You ask them casually, hey, how is life? They will never say, hey, I am wonderful. Aha. How is life? Somehow surviving or not bad. Can't we even have that confidence to say, yes, I am perfectly happy? If we are, then we will, but we are perfectly miserable. See? Why this happens? Because we are a load, a burden to ourselves. What is the reason? Niyama are not practiced. So, Shaucha, Tapas, Svadhyaya, etc. are to be perfectly practiced in life. Then we are walking the spiritual path. So, we know about it, but somehow or the other I just can't. Then don't give up. And therefore the teacher says here, in this 33rd sutra, that vitarka vadhane, when your negative thinking will become very dominating, that time pratipaksha bhavanam. That time, do not yield to the negative thinking. Destroy that negative thinking by self-respect. Remember in our 9th chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna told us, Sadhurevasya mantavyaha samyak vyavasito hi saha. He who is deciding to change himself, he is already a saint. Because this is how the saints are born. Those who are wanting to change themselves and come out of the rut of this disgusting existence, they are sadhu eva mantavyaha, because they have taken the right step. So, which are those vitarkas against which we have to do these various kind of pratipaksha bhavana? This is said in the 34th sutra. Vitarka himsadayaha krutakarita numodita lobha krodha moha purvaka mrudumadhyadi matra dukkha jnanananta phala iti pratipaksha bhavanam. Now see in the sutra what he says, vitarka himsadaya. What was the first yama sadhana? Ahimsa. Now vitarka, the contrary, the opposite. What will be the opposite? Will be the himsa, etc. That means all these 10 factors, when the opposite of them are overpowering us, so these opposite factors are called as vitarka. So these then krutakarita modita, when they are done, practiced or accepted or supported and born out of krodha, lobha, krodha, moha, and in different degrees, leading to ignorance and the innumerable results of those ignorance, this is called as pratipaksha bhavanam. Now let us take it one by one. See, vitarka. Ahimsa was the first yama, so opposite will be the himsa. And this is only one example. Now the same thing we have to repeat with all the 10 of them. Here the teacher has given only one, rest is homework. So first is taken as ahimsa and the vitarka is the himsa, opposite, which overpowers us is himsa. So how do we get out of these himsa, the injury to others, and how they are troubling us? First, tatra tavad himsa. Now, krutakarita anumodita iti tridha bhavati. So, himsa, injury to others, is at 3 levels or in 3 types. Tridha, 3 kinds. First is kruta. We directly go and hurt somebody, either by body or by speech or by mind. First, kruta. Then karita. Karita is we engage the underworld people to destroy somebody. You know, in Bombay language they call it supari. Supari means erica nut. And they have got rates. His one leg is to be broken, 10,000 rupees. Both legs have to be broken, 20,000 rupees. Okay, concession for you, 19,000 rupees. And he is to be made invalid, 25,000 rupees. This fellow is to be killed. Yes, I can do that. 10 lakhs. So, I engage some criminals and inflict injury on others. So, first is either we do the injury directly or we engage the destroying agencies. Second. Now the third one. Anumodita. Anumodita is when somebody is doing the injury, you are favoring that. Anumodanam, favoring. These are the 3 ways that this vitarka, himsa, is practiced by us. One thing. Now, ekaika punas tridha. Now the same thing, although one, this becomes in 3 different ways. How? Because they are born out of the 3 methods. One is lobha, krodha and moha purvaka. For example, lobhena, by the greed, lobha means greed. By the greed, he gives example. Masa charvarthena. So one is wanting to kill the animal and eat the flesh. Greed. Why there is nothing else to eat in this world that you have to only kill the animals and eat? See? So, either for killing to eat the flesh or charma. I must have the belt made out of the, the snake skin. Why? You are poisonous inside. Is it not enough that you require a belt made out of the snake skin outside? See? Charma. So, this is because of the lobha, greed. And when now here he has given this kind of himsa, means directly killing the animals. But you will see, I was telling you day for yesterday, the example which took place in California. One NRI, software engineer, killing his wife only for the sake of money. Lobhena, because of the greed. One can go to any extent. The famous words of Mahatma Gandhi, for the need of the whole world, there is enough in this world. But the whole world is not enough even for the greed of one person. It's so important. And because of this greed only, all the things that are happening, whether at the time of Mahabharata or what is happening today in the Middle East, do you think it is because of the charity and establishing goodness in the whole world? There was one very good, letter to the editor, very small but very cute letter. If Middle East was growing carrots like Tibet, will there be so much of war? See? It is only because of the oil that the whole thing is going on under the disguise of charity and welfare of the world. Therefore, greed, lobhena, masa charmarthena. The second thing is krodhena, krodhena apakrutam anena iti. So when one becomes angry, apakrutam, he has done some harm to me, I am not going to spare him. So, we are not wanting to forgive. We are not wanting to forgive. We want to take the revenge. This revengeful attitude is not the lifestyle of a spiritual seeker. There is no place. Therefore, revenge is expressed through the anger, krodha. That is why this is another very important pratipaksha bhavana. Never justify our anger. Never justify. The moment we justify our anger, we become habitual in becoming angry. And if you are able to invoke the anger without getting angry and bitter, then that anger is used as an instrument. But very few of us are able to discriminate and understand that we have used this particular instrument and thrown thereafter. No, we carry the load of the anger for the whole day, because then the anger overpowers us. Therefore, krodhena apakrutam anena iti. And therefore, one will be ready to do any harm to others. And the third, mohena. When one is taking this wrong course because of foolishness or misunderstanding. Many a times, this communication gap and misunderstanding leads to many crimes, and afterwards regrets come. So, mohena, then dharmo me bhavishyati iti. So, he has given an example. Under this wrong notion that if I sacrifice a child before the goddess, I will become wealthy. So, they will go and somehow correct some child and sacrifice, and like that. The other day, 2 years before, I was in South Africa, and we were somewhere down south, Cape Town, and we are moving around. So, there were some people from one ashram. I don't know their names. So we were just talking about, and then somehow the problems of the AIDS came, because that day there was some big issue, some kind of awareness program was there. So the news was, these AIDS can be cured. Some there, local doctors have declared, the tribal local doctors have declared, that if you are having AIDS, and if you go in for with a virgin girl, your AIDS will be cured. And as a result, they are on the lookout for our Indian girls. See? This is called as mohena, born out of foolishness, born out of height of ignorance. Therefore, this is how these vitarka, this is one example only about ahimsa. Then similarly, steya, then asatya. So we have to go the opposite, like that. Then lobha, krodha, mohaha, punaha, trividhaha. And these three also again further get divided into three types. Which are those three types? See, if you take the original sutra, then you will appreciate it more. So we have taken himsa, the Deha word. As example, himsa, injury, killing. First, kruta, karita, anumodita, this we have seen. Then, this himsa is done under the influence of lobha, moha, krodha, moha. Therefore, under the influence of greed, anger and delusion. Now, what is their intensity, how they are done? So, they are also further divided into three, and they are mrudu, madhya, adhimatra. Therefore, they are further called into these three categories, evam himsayaha, mrudu, madhya, and adhimatra. Mrudu is soft himsa. Madhyam is mediocre. Adhimatra is intense. So mrudu will be little punishment. Okay, I'll only do this much, but next time don't do that. Little one. Madhyama is, I shall not spare you. And adhimatra, I shall wipe out your total country. See? How long it can go. One is not happy only punishing one small. This is how in many tribes. This is how their enmity continues from generation to generation. They don't talk of taking revenge to one person, but they talk of taking revenge to the whole family. And then the people of that family, all of them, whether young, old, deserving, everybody is killed. What is their sin? They belong to that family. This is how in Germany the things have happened. And this is how the things are happening now also. The names of the heroes change, but the effect continue to be the same. So they are called as the three of them, mrudu, madhya, adhimatra. Little bit mediocre and very intense. And in this manner, they have become totally evam himsayaha saptavinshati bhedaha bhavanti. Thus, there are totally 27 of them. So, kruta, karita, anumodita multiplied by 3. Krodha, moha, etc. and lobha, and so 3 into 3, 9, and they are again under 3 categories. 9 into 3, 27. They have become further 27 times. I had told this thing about in the 10th chapter when I told in short. Thereafter they become 27 types. Mrudu, madhya, adhimatra, puna, mrudu, madhya. And then this also. This mrudu, madhya, these 3 intensities, they further are divided into another 2 pairs, such as mrudu, mrudu, very light, not much. Then mrudu, madhya, then tivra, mrudu, then mrudu madhya, madhya madhya, then tivra madhya, then mrudu tivra, madhya tivra, and adhimatra tivra in this manner. And all of them put together, they become 81 types. 27 into 3. So these are the different types of possibilities that come out of the wrong thinking. This is what I mean. See to what extent the branching of the wrong thinking goes. This is how, if we arrest the process of wrong thinking right in the beginning, never encourage a single wrong thought. Right in the beginning, cut it. Suppose you get a wrong thought, misunderstanding about somebody or something, or we get a wrong thought about hurting somebody. Never justify that even once. Never. Immediately throw it out of the system. Then only we are becoming aware of what is happening to the mind. Or else we become victim of our own mind. So in this manner, niyama vikalpa samuchya bhedat niyamaha. So as they have become 81. Now this sapuna, then again this himsa further is divided. Niyama vikalpa samuchya bhedat niyamaha vikalpaha. So what is the niyama? I shall kill only the fish, or among these different types of animals I shall kill only this type of animal. Then how many types of animals are there? For example, goat and sheep. These are the examples given here. Goat and sheep. So I shall kill only the sheep and not the goat. Or I shall kill that animal in one stroke or through the slow bleeding. See how many vikalpas are there. And in this manner, when you go ahead, samuchyaha himsa sankhyayaha prana brud bhedasya aparisankheyatvat. And thus, there is no end to go on justifying and spreading the net of negative thinking in our life. Therefore, evam andrutadishu api yojjam. Now the same thing has to be now applied to the remaining 9 of them. So, himsa, opposite of ahimsa, vitarka. Then satyam, opposite of satyam is andrutam, asatyam. In this manner, yojjam has to be applied. Thereafter, te khalu ami vitarkaha dukkha jnana ananta phalaha iti. So first of all, what we have seen, that once our thinking process goes wrong, it can go to such an extent that we get caught up in our own thoughts. This is the meaning. You will see nobody makes us more miserable than ourselves. Others try to make us smile, and we don't want. We have taken a vow. See? Such disgusting people. Even God doesn't want them. So, this is one thing. Second thing is that dukkha ajnana ananta phalaha iti. And all this negative thinking is the womb of miseries in life. Now tell me one simple thing. Whom do we like to be with? The one who is happy and cheerful. So if we like to be in the company of the happy and cheerful person, what will be the condition if we discover that happiness and cheerfulness? And that doesn't come from outside. Take a tablet. It will not. It has to be from within. And therefore, dukkha ajnana ananta phalaha. By this negative thinking, we only are the creators of our miseries and leading to an unending series of miseries in life. Iti pratipakshasya bhavanam. This is what is called as thinking positively so that the negative thinking does not overpower us. So see how beautifully each and every term has a deep meaning. Himsadaya krutakarita anumodita lobha krodha moha purvaka mrudumadhyadi matra dukkha jnana ananta phalaha iti pratipaksha bhavanam. These are there. So, iti pratipaksha bhavanan. And himsaka tavat prathamam, continuing further the commentary, himsakaha tavat prathamam vadhyasya viryam akshipati. When now the thinking is continuing further, pratipaksha bhavana, what happens? First, he who kills others as a result of killing, first thing that happens is vadhyasya viryasya viryam akshipati. The one who is killed or hurt, his strength, his ability to move is destroyed. Second thing, tatascha shastradi nipatanena dukhayati. Then when the instrument is used to kill or to destroy anybody, that creates misery for that particular person. Then tataha jivitadapi mochayati. And ultimately one may kill him for all the time. Mochayati. In this manner, tataha viryakshepad asya himsakaha chetana acetanam upakaranam kshina viryam dukkhotpadat narakatiryak pretadishu dukkham anubhavati. Now it is said now. What happens to that animal or a person who was inflicted pain or killed by this criminal person? To him what happens? It is said first. Tataha virya akshepad. When he has destroyed somebody else's strength because of inflicting pain, because of that, asya chetana chetanam upakaranam virya akshina viryam bhavati. His possessions with reference to the sentient and insentient. What are our sentient possessions? Husband, wife, children, uncle, auntie. And what are the insentient possessions? Our house, property, etc., etc. They are also being affected when we have troubled somebody in that area. First. Second, then dukkhotpadat, when we are hurting somebody a lot, as a result, narak tiryak pretadishu dukkham anubhavati. Then such a person is born in the next life in the lower wombs. Either he goes to the hell or he is born in the tiryak, the animal life, or pretadishu, he remains as a ghost. Dukkham anubhavati. And when we have killed somebody, now as a result of this killing, jivita vyaparopanad jivitadyate vartamanaha kathanchit ushvasiti. And when we have killed somebody, we are not able to die. Such people suffer. They are unable, even if they want to die, they continue to suffer. Either because of some disease or because of some inability or some kind of torture their mind goes through, and they are not even able to die comfortably. Therefore, many elderly people, one old lady, she used to be the devotee of the Lord, and her children used to make fun of her. All the time you are chanting this Ram, 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 Ram. What is going to happen with this nonsense? Because they were software engineers. So, she said, I don't want anything. you people are struggling for this and this. If you want to know what I want, only one thing. I should be able to get out of this body as casually as I am talking to you. That is all. I don't want to continue to suffer on the bed and be miserable. And for that I am chanting the Lord's name. And she said like this thing, and in 2 minutes everything over. See, such a beautiful death. Otherwise, keep on hanging on the bed, and then there is a lot of kind of ulcers and the bed sores and everything, and you don't die. So, these are the various kinds of miseries that take place. Then dukkha vipakasya niyata vipakadeniyatvad yadi cha kathanchit punyavapagata bhaved tatra sukha praptau alpayuhu bhaved. And as a result of this, because of the earlier punya, if he happened to be born in the good family, and because of his all sins that he has done, his life becomes very short. He has got everything to enjoy, but he just can't enjoy anything. And continuing further, alpayuhu bhavet evam anrutadishu yatha sambhavam yojjam. In this manner, one should go on thinking how, when we follow this wrong course of thinking, is responsible for our own destruction. So, yatha sambhavam yojjam evam vitarkanam anugatam amum eva anishtam vipakam bhavayam vitarkeshu manaha na pranadadhid. And therefore, you go on thinking, contemplating about this, and do not yield to the impact and the overpowering effect of the wrong thinking. This is how you know it is our own mind. We only decide that I should now start my disciplined life. We start discipline. And how long? Maybe for a day or two. But again, then the vitarka start coming. In my whole life, I never got up early in the morning. And but suddenly, what is this funny thing? So, when I have lived so happily up to the age of 70, I never went to the temple, I never did this, I never did that. And I was pretty happy. Why think about it? Forget about it. So, this is the type of thinking which takes us away from the spiritual path. If this is for the old age, what is for the young age? Oh, this is the time to enjoy. Who knows what happens in the old age? So life is meant only to enjoy. Let us enjoy, even at the cost of anything. These are the types of thoughts which do not allow us to sustain on the spiritual path. So this is how one should go on thinking, and manaha na pranadadhit. Do not yield to this. We have to be very strong. Now, pratipaksha bhavana hetoho heya vitarka yada asya syuhu prasava dharmanaha tada tat krutam aishwaryam yoginaha siddhisoochakam bhavati tadyata. When these kinds of negativities are totally and once for all removed from the mind of this yogi, and he is now rooted in his spiritual practice. So what is now spiritual practice? See, it is not said so far that what type of clothes you should put on. No. What is important is ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, tapas, swadhyaya. All these things put together, when they are sincerely practiced in life, then what happens is all the dormant powers become manifest in the life of that yogi. See? You know what happens? when our Jnana Shakti, the mind, and Kriya Shakti, the activity, when they are in perfect combination, when they are supporting each other, when they are not contradicted, when the knowledge is not contradicted in action, and when actions are not in contradiction to the knowledge, then alone our personality becomes extremely integrated. When the personality becomes fully integrated, then all the divine powers start coming up. See, it is something like this, if you go on digging, let us take 1 or 2 feet in 10-20 places, you will never get the water from the soil. Then go on digging in one place, you will get. In the same manner, what happens? Our own knowledge is contradicted in our own actions. When our own knowledge is contradicted in our own actions, we can never progress and we can never bring out the dormant potentialities which every one of us have. And therefore, that yogi who has, by this Pratipaksha Bhavana, never yielded to the negative thinking and kept on doing his spiritual practice with reference to these 10 principles, then all the divine powers start manifesting in his life. Which are those divine powers? This is the next main topic begins. So, this 35th Sutra, Ahimsa Pratisthayam Tassannidhau Vairatyagaha. So, Ahimsayaha Pratisthayam Satyam, when this first Yama Sadhana, Ahimsa, non-injury, when it becomes Vitarka Shunya, when it becomes firm, then Tat Sannidhau, in the nearby vicinity of such a great yogi, Sarvesham Anya Praninam Vairatyagaha, all the animals' mutual enmity is forgotten. Kasya Vairatyaga Bhavati? Sarva Praninam Bhavati. Means what? Sarva Praninam Bhavati, the commentary tells, Shashvatika Virodaha Api Ashva Mahisha Mushaka Marjara Ahi Nakula Adayaha Api Bhagavata Pratishtita Himsasya Sannidhanat Tatchitta Anukaranaham Vairam Parityajanti Iti. There are born enemies. Which are the born enemies? Example, Shashvatikaha Virodi. What is the born enmity? Ashwa Mahisha, the horse and bullock or the buffalo, and Mushaka Marjara, the rat and the cat, and Ahi Nakula, the snake and, I don't know what you call for Nakula, mongoose. Mongoose. So, their born enmity is also non-operational in the vicinity of a yogi who is established in this ahimsa. Our Bhagwan Shankaracharya, when he was going in Sringeri, near that river where the present ashram is established, Sringeri Peeth, there he saw that there was a frog came out of the waters and sitting on the rock. And it was a very bright sun. So that time there was a snake, a cobra. He came and he held his hood in such a manner that the bright sun should not hurt that particular frog. He did not eat that. So when Bhagwan Shankaracharya saw this, he said, this is the right place where the mother goddess can be established, where there is no himsa, where there is only ahimsa matra. So, in the presence of such great yogi who has practiced this ahimsa strictly, in his presence, even the born enemies become friends. See what happens in the life of our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This thing comes. When he started from Navadvip in Bengal to visit Vrindavan, those days, more than 500-600 years before, there were no roads and all that. So he has to go through the forest. And when he was going through the forest, that time, all the wild animals, they just joined with him. Not only not hurting him, but also the other animals, their mutual enmity as if totally forgotten. Therefore, ahimsa pradisthayam tatsannidhau vairatyagaha. And it is so true. That is why, when we go to the great masters, many times we go with many questions and many arguments, but our mind becomes immediately quiet, because in their presence, the agitations of the mind born out of himsa, etc., they are quietened by their very presence. This is how the one of the siddhis, and these siddhis are more powerful and valuable to the society than anything else. Therefore, many people have this notion, these Babajis don't do anything, they are only the load on the society, they should do some work. Now this is the work they are doing. When their pratishtha, when their firm abidance in the ahimsa, non-injury, starts manifesting, then by their very presence, all the disputes and all the difficulties are taken care of. See, there is another story I'll tell you about this. There used to be, Udiya Baba in Vrindavan. And many times, these thieves, dacoits used to come. From that belt is very much known for the dacoits, the Chambal Valley and all that area. And the whole Uttar Pradesh, North India is the dacoity only. So, when the thieves will come in presence of him, they will never bring their gun or anything. Because when they were asked, don't you feel that, no, with Baba nothing can touch us. See, where from that thing comes? Ahimsa pradisthayam. Therefore, this is first. Now, ahimsa, then satya. Then what happens with reference to the satya? Satya pratisthayam. Kriya phalashrayatvam. Dharmiko bhuya iti bhavati dharmikaha. Swarga prapnuhi iti swarga prapnoti. Amoghasya vak bhavati. See, this sutra, understand it very clearly. Satya pratisthayam. Do you remember what is satya? Satya is when our own experience is transmitted in the understanding of the listener, that kind of speech is called as satya. Many times we only get lost into this thing, when somebody comes, you told that I am not here, you tell. Are you not speaking lies? Yes, I am speaking lies. Then why do you tell it? Because I am a liar. Don't get lost into this kind of argument. There is no meaning. Real meaning of satya is not that. The real meaning of satya is when our speech carries the words with meaning. When our speech doesn't carry the words with meaning, they are barren words. And when the words are barren, they cannot create impact on the mind of the listener. Therefore, Satya Pradishtayam Kriya. It happens that way. Therefore, you know that famous story of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, when the child was to be told, don't eat sweets, he did not tell straight away on the first day. He made his mother come 3 times, and fourth time, he told. Why? Because before I tell the child, don't eat sweet, I must abstain myself from the sweet for some time, at least for a week, if not the whole life. Then only my word will carry meaning, that great master said. This is what is called as Satya Pradishtayam. Therefore, when the words are only at a surface level, they are coming only from the lips and not from the Pashyanti Vani, and then they cannot have any meaning, and therefore they do not create exactly what is said by the speaker. Kriya Ashrayatvam. That is why Dharmiko Bhuyaha iti. When the Mahatmas tell somebody, hey, now come on, give up all this wrong lifestyle and now take recourse in the right lifestyle. Isn't it? We hear the story of Ratnakara, the dacoit, who became Valmiki only by one simple word of Narad Maharshi, because Satya Pradishtayam. It has to happen. Therefore, it is so important that our Satya is never compromised. Now, before we go to the next one, let us understand why the Vak, Amoghasya Vak Bhavati, why the speech becomes so powerful that every word manifests its effect. What is the secret? Now, secret is like this. See, the speech by which I am talking to you is called as the Vaikhari Vani. In Vaikhari Vani, the word and the meaning of the word are different. Like, this is a pencil. So, this is a pencil is a word, and this is an object called as pencil. So, we are dealing at the Vaikhari level. At the Madhyama level, the pencil thought and the pencil object, both of them are of the nature of thought. When we think about a pencil, so that pencil thought and the content of that thought, the pencil, both of them are only thoughts. That is Madhyama Vani. We go still further in Pashyanti Vani. In Pashyanti Vani, which is at the Nabhi Desha, at the umbilicus level, there the thought and the object, they are not separated. Now, when somebody's words are born from this Pashyanti Vani, where the thought and the object are not separate, and if only the thought is born, the object has to follow. See? When the envelope is posted in a post box, and on that envelope, the stamp is fixed, not separate from the envelope, so along with the envelope, the stamp will also come. In the same manner, Satya Pratisthayam, when one is living at the level of this Pashyanti Vani, his words become meaningful. Because the words and their meaning are no more existing separately. Satya Pratisthayam, Kriya, and Phala Ashrayatvam, and therefore whatever they say, that happens. And they don't have to struggle for anything. They just say, and it happens because Amogha Vagasya Bhavati. His speech becomes perfect. Amogha, it will never go wrong. There was a Mahatma, I told you this story long time back. He was, a kind of a Siddha Purusha and a devotee of the Lord in Vrindavan or somewhere. And he had a very huge hydrocele, huge kind of thing. And he never bothered about it. So when one of the visitors went and saw a very young, arrogant man, and he saw he sitting with that huge hydrocele, and people go and do namaskar to him, and when he saw, he started laughing. Oh, this is Mahatma. This is a great saint. He started laughing. When he started laughing, that Mahatma casually said, "Hey, are you mad or what? Why are you laughing?" And he became mad for life. See? Now be very attentive. When we are even studying the scriptures, when we are in this atmosphere of spiritual life, we do not know what time we are where. At times we are at the level of the Pashanti Vani. And that time, if some bad sankalpa comes in our mind, it will happen. Therefore, never ever think or even in a fun say something bad to somebody. Not only to somebody, but even to ourselves. This should never be done, because any time it may click and then there are only regrets thereafter. This is how Satya Pratishtitayam Kriya and Phala Ashrayatvam. So whatever they say, that happens. That is the Phala Ashraya. So their words are meaningful and therefore they can change the life of others. There are many Mahatmas whose simple words have changed the lives of many people. And the Mahatmas even do not know them. See the beauty of life. Because the words are so powerful. Satya Pratishtitayam. And next comes our Asteya, that we will take in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.